The Madman! Card review, go! Starting with Duskfallen AVIANA. 5 mana druid card, 3/7. The first card each player plays each turn costs 0. When you play Duskfallen AVIANA, that counts as the first card you play, which means the opponent will get the first benefit of costing 0, which is why this card is commonly compared to Temporis and is generally thought to be a meme or unplayable. While the health of the card is strong enough that she could survive, giving your opponent the first chance to play a card for 0 begs the danger. It invites the danger that Millhouse Mana Storm invites. So about the only way you could take advantage of this is to get the first discount. The ways you can cheat her out are with Alarmobot, which is, there are like at least 2 things wrong with that. First of all, you're running Alarmobot. Second of all, you're playing the AVIANA as a middle woman instead of just cheating out the big card. Some might think about Master Oakheart, but that unfortunately doesn't work because the Master Oakheart will be the first card you play, therefore you won't get a discount. Next up, we've got the Hunter Rat Trap. And while you may not be able to appreciate the art so much on this small card, I encourage you to take a really close look on the background to gauge how big that trap is. It's a 102 mana trap secret. After your opponent plays 3 cards of the turn, summon a 6/6 rat. 2 mana 6/6. Wow. Is what I would say if I were your usual reviewer, and I would be like, wow, the card sure has a lot of potential. What if your opponent has the coin? That's really easy then, right? I am grounded in reality, and I see that this rat trap is a trap. Save your 400 dust, probably. It's a 2 mana do nothing. They'll just play around it with 2 cards a turn. Like on average, each of your turns you'll find are playing 1 or 2 cards a turn. And sure, you may think of the Natural Miracle Rogue, which plays like a bazillion cards a turn, but by the time they get to that, you've probably lost anyways, and a 6/6 ain't gonna save you. Counters Echo, but that seems currently to not be a thing. And even if it were a thing, maybe the player would just echo twice or something. But it is a cool trap to have in the pool of traps at the very least. Now on the flip side of Rat Trap, and to be fair, Rat Trap is an interesting card, we've got Wing Blast for Hunter. 4 mana, deal 4 damage to a minion. Oh, that's pretty bad, right? Oh wait, there's more text. If a minion died this turn, this costs 1. 1 mana, deal 4 to a minion. Whoa! With almost no catch? There's a small catch. You have to do a little bit of a trade on your turn of some sort. On the whole, minions do die in Hearthstone quite a bit, and this will be a 1 mana deal 4 enough of the time when it matters that the tempo gain from it should make this a pretty wide appearance in pretty much all the Hunter decks. Now I don't quite know if you'll fit in all of Wing Blast and Flanking Strike and Kill Command into your usual, mid-range / control / late-ish game Hunter. But I was doing a little bit of research, and Tar Creeper is one of the most played cards in Hearthstone. Sending a weak minion to die against a Tar Creeper and then Wing Blasting a Tar Creeper seems like a pretty efficient way of removing this Tar Creeper. And finally, last but not least, even if you pay 4 mana to deal 4 damage to a minion, which will happen, not the end of the world, I'd say. Next up, 5 mana Holy Water, the Priest spell. I think I see a little bit of salt in it.
I got Holy Water to reveal from the upcoming Witchwood expansion.
Deal 4 damage to a minion. If that kills it, add a copy of it to your hand. So the thought experiment I ran on this card is it better to draw a card, or is it better to add a copy of a minion to your hand? And usually your opponent's minion, because you usually don't want to kill your own minion, even though that's an option. Your opponent's minions generally don't fit into your own playstyle, so I concluded that it was generally, not always, but generally better to draw a card over adding a copy of your opponent's minion to your hand. So that said, we can consider this to be a 5 mana deal 4, slightly worse than draw a card. And that's between Hammer of Wrath, and that's between Starfire. This fits into the happy medium, so it seems like it's at least fair. But then you consider the draw card is not really draw a card, it's add a copy. And then you have to consider that both Hammer of Wrath and Starfire aren't really seeing play, mostly because they fall too far behind against tempo decks. And Holy Water, I don't know, that might be why Crypt's Tears are going to purify the Holy Water, or purify the water. I wonder if the water is purified because of Crypt.
And even though, it might not see some play.
I like that. And then here's, the part where you be like, even though it might not see any play, at least in the future, someday it might be good. Think it's pretty bad. Finally, the card that gets hard countered by Holy Water, which is Cauldron, 3 mana, 0/4. After a friendly minion dies, add a random shaman spell to your hand. 1 mana less than the Cult Master, more health than the Cult Master, so it'll stick around more, and then continue to gain you value perhaps as your friendly minions go out and do battle. I think it's pretty well established that a random shaman spell is less good than drawing a card. Witch's Cauldron will give you those random shaman spells as currency, and we still haven't seen any shaman cards in this set yet that are spells, so who knows, maybe the Witch's Cauldron will brew up something good. So pretty much what I can do right now is evaluate this card as, what if it basically said 3 mana 0/4 after a friendly minion dies? Draw a slightly below average card. And in that case, I'm not even entirely sold that it's that much better than Cult Master, as a card that comes out 1 mana earlier and has 2 more health. Unlike Cult Master, it's not going to take a resource to kill the Cauldron, which is Cauldron, good card if you're ahead, but I think that's pretty specific, and also why Cult Master is not really run, because it's too optimistic to put a card into your deck that's only really good when you're ahead. Even though I personally don't see it, Witch's Cauldron seems to excel in a deck with a lot of capabilities putting out a lot of guys, so maybe it'll see experimentation in Dude Paladin, and you always have to look out for the internal set synergy here. There is a card out there which creates a bunch of wisps for the druids. Hopefully all your wisps survive, and then you dump them into the Cauldron, and the wisps make beautiful shaman spells. 3 mana, draw 6 shaman spells. That's pretty good if you can somehow get that to work. But I'm not optimistic enough to brew with this card myself.